We must develop empathy for the self, because that is one of the ways that we can heal and reconnect to our childhood experiences and begin to ascend. And we ascend when we learn to stop suppressing how we feel. What prompted this video today was one of my clients, who shall remain nameless, but she knows I love her so much, got her wings today. Today was her final session. She is at a point in her recovery where she feels completely able to take care of herself and honor herself, and she's able to set boundaries with the people that she has dealt with her whole life. Some people have been more difficult to deal with than others, but she's at a point in her recovery where she understands why she was codependent along our coaching, what she had to learn to do in order to heal from codependency. What I suggested to my lovely client this morning is that she must stay aware, okay? Because our patterns are in the amygdala and the hippocampus, okay? In the temporal lobes. We have amygdalas and hippocampuses in the temporal lobe in each hemisphere of the brain. We have to understand that when we were children, our amygdala, which is tied to the emotional aspects, it's very much linked to fear. When we were children, we were in theta, Theta brainwave states primarily until we were 8 years old. And that's a very hypnotic state, brainwave state. What happens in that state is that we get downloaded from everything that's being offered to us in our environment. I said in one of my earlier videos, this is why we believe in Santa Claus and his reindeers. And we believe in ghosts, and we believe in Easter bunnies, and we believe in magic and all that good stuff, which is nice, but we also believe in the bad stuff. By the time I was 8 years old, I received the information from my mother primarily that I was bad. I really believed that I was bad. I believed that I was worthless. By the time I was 7, my dad had told me that I was never allowed to say anything bad about my mommy because she worked so hard in the house. So I was taught that I am not allowed to tell the truth, and I am not to talk about my feelings. So that became part of my programming in the amygdala and the hippocampus. Now, the reason that's so significant is because if we don't turn this switch on in the amygdala, and we don't force ourselves to wire to the prefrontal cortex up here, so we've got to get from the program to the front of the brain, we will not be able to heal and stay healed. We will revert back to the programming. What we want to do on the healing journey is commit ourselves to staying aware and highly conscious. Conscious. So how do we do that? Yes, dear ones, meditation is huge. YouTube is awesome. It is filled with hundreds of thousands of videos that are designed to help you heal in all different sorts of ways. So on my healing journey, I began doing guided pineal gland activation. I did loving this inner child meditations. Do your meditations, commit to them daily. Also, exercise. Exercise increases the secretion of endorphins in your brain, which will help you keep your mood elevated so you'll be depressed less, especially if you're depressed. Personally, dear ones, I think that psychiatric units should all be equipped with stationary bicycles and treadmills. We have to put people who are clinically depressed and suicidal on treadmills. They are going over and over and over in their head. They're recycling these negative tapes that are in their head, which only depresses them and suppresses their ability to increase neurochemicals that are actually going to elevate the mood. And exercise elevates the mood naturally. So even if you hate to exercise, dear one, for me, please start exercising. Jump in place for 10 minutes. The other thing that I want you to start investigating is things that, exercises that are associated with brain gym. We need to exercise the brain. So what we're trying to do is we want brain syncing. We don't want to stay in our codependent childhood patterns, the ones that keep us stuck as codependents, being afraid to rock the boat, afraid to tell the truth, worrying more about what other people think than what we think about. Those programs are all locked in the amygdala and the hippocampuses. We want brain syncing, we want neurological wiring to the prefrontal cortex. I'm going to look very, very silly right now, but I don't care if it helps you. I'm going to do it. So the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body, and the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. Science has discovered that when you take the right arm and you cross it across into the left side of the body, what happens is you get brain syncing. And when you cross the left side of the body into the right side of the body, what happens is your brain is kind of like activated and it's confused a little bit, but you want it guessing. You want your brain guessing. You want it out of the patterns. So what some neuroscientists are suggesting is that you begin doing exercises that are involved with having your arms cross your body. One of the things that I started doing was I started massaging acupuncture points in my ears this way by crossing my hands, so that my left hand is massaging my right ear and my right hand is massaging my left ear. And you want to do that for about 20 seconds. Another thing that you can do is you can cross your body and you can tap. You know, a lot of you are into the EFT. Don't do it this way. Cross your arms and do it that way. I'm going to look real silly right now, but it's for you, dear ones. I want you to heal. I want you to ascend. I don't want you to be locked in dark energy. I want to raise the vibrations of the planet. So come up with interesting ways to use this. So yes, you can, massage your ears. And then another thing that you can do is tap on either side of your head with opposite arms. You stand up and you cross your legs like a jumping jack, but cross your right foot in front of your left foot back and forth. Even sometimes, this morning I was exercising in my gym and I was crossing my eyes, crossing the meridian. If you do your own investigation, you will discover that this helps to activate the brain and it helps to sync the brain. Why is this so important for codependence? Because the problem is in the brain. The problem is in the programming. So dear ones, please, this year, do what I did. Commit to understanding the basics of your brain. I mean, if that's where all the problems are residing, isn't it smart to know how this tool works? Doesn't it just make sense? I mean, the amygdala and the hippocampus are tied to our emotions. You have to understand the limbic system. And you have to understand the absolute importance of brain syncing and moving your neural wiring to the prefrontal cortex. That's why the pineal gland activation videos are so important. Another thing that you can do is go into a dark room, shut the lights off in your kitchen or whatever, and get a candle. And raise the candle up on a surface that is equal to your vision, field of vision, and stare at the flame. Just stare at the flame. And what will happen is you'll go into a hypnotic state, a theta brainwave state, and then what you want to do is close your eyes and see if you can see the flame in the middle of your eye. That will help you activate the third eye, which is all related to the prefrontal cortex. You want to be able to also increase your ability to think with the prefrontal cortex, which is why I like tapping so much. It just helps you to remember prefrontal cortex, logic and reason, prefrontal cortex. The other thing that I think is really simple is that you must keep journaling, okay? Journaling helps you identify who you are. It keeps you connected to the essence of you. My client this morning, she got her wings this morning, but I warned her. I said to her, listen, you're gonna have to every day, every single day, spend 10 or 15 minutes journaling about the way you feel. What are your needs for today? What are your wants for tomorrow? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? That type of cognitive thinking will keep you tethered to the soul and will keep you growing and moving forward. It's very, 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 very important to continue to do that, because what happens when you're codependent is it's just too easy to slip back into the old routines and the old programs, worrying about what he said and she said and whatnot. So all of these ideas are designed so that your brain can begin appreciating who you are on a spiritual level and thus an emotional level.